Jess O'Brien.
Dan Reichert.
The day has come. Resident Evil Village is available for the masses.
Thank God. We've been waiting so long.
No, I'm joking with the folks at home. It's been
what?
out for a while. It's been out for like
What
a couple
the?
years. They just added some new stuff to it. Hey, and guess what? It ain't that good.
Oh, what? Come on.
I mean, we'll take a look at it. It's not
You're breaking
terrible.
my heart. You're
It's
breaking
just
my
not
heart
a
so
lot.
soon into the quick look here.
Well, I'm gonna.
gotta
Okay, there's
lead-
basically 3 parts.
Gotta
It's-
lead
it's-
up to that heartbreak.
No, let's start. I'll show why it's not. It's maybe that's too dramatic. It's not terrible. It's just there's not a lot to get excited about here. There's basically 3 pillars, I would say. There's a 3-act story of this DLC. You've got your Shadows of Rose, you got the Mercenaries, which has been in several Resident Evil games, and you got third-person mode for the basic Resident Evil Village. So let's just hop into each one of those. I'd say Shadows of Rose is maybe one of the more significant things here because it's kind of a new bite-size, I guess you could call it, campaign of sorts.
And I don't even know how, if you haven't played the game, you wouldn't know who the hell Rose is, right?
Rose is a little magic baby that gets split up into a bunch of parts and then put back together.
She's all grown up. What the hell? Something's
Yes.
gotta be going on with that.
From the end of Resident Evil Village, there's a flash forward where the baby is now a young lady that you see before you here. I can't see her face. I guess there's no way to... Wait, nope. She doesn't want to show her face when I... Nope,
Trust me, she's gorgeous. Trust me.
She's
Beautiful
a young lady with a gun, but here's the deal. She's got a bunch of secret powers. By the way, I have not played through this part, so I'm just going to be like, oh, I need that. I need a snake painting. Great.
Oh.
What was I going to say? Shit, I got distracted by a snake painting. I unlocked it with what? I don't have a lockpick.
I love a clawed bathtub, by the way. Oh, my God.
Yeah, absolutely. Hang on, let's read this. Oh, the Gallery of Despair. Oh, I've done this. Okay. I've seen that.
I've seen
magic
this
powers.
art exhibit before.
Oh, wow, that's a giant clawed bathtub.
Ooh,
My
for
God.
a giant lady, I think I know whose bathtub this is.
Oh, the big lady. Right. The internet's
Internet,
favorite big
Internet,
lady.
they were listening. They were listening to you. How does she bathe? Everyone was asking this. Now you know, in a really big bathtub.
This is around where her room was anyway, right? I seem to remember this from the original game.
I think so. If you look through that window, is that where she was having her little cutscene with the? Oh, you can't see through the
Got
window.
some blackout
God.
shades on there.
Oh, this is a bad game. Never mind. I can't see the little cosmetic counter she was at.
Look at this
There's
shit.
a word for that.
This is one of her powers. She was a magic baby, and now she's a magic young lady, and so she can melt this weird goop stuff, basically.
Isn't that the same thing that Small Fry does in Splatoon 3?
That sounds about right. Yeah. I think canonically it's the same type of deal, too.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not going too far. What is this? Rusted scrap. So basically, this is set in the future. This is the future of Village, at least, because, she was a baby, and now she's like, what, 14, 15? I don't know. And she doesn't like the fact that she's got these magic powers. You see these mean girls at school make fun of her. So she wants to get rid of her magic powers, so she goes into, like, an animus type of situation, like from Assassin's Creed. And so this isn't real. She's like exploring the memories of whatever, Yeah,
That's
so
weak.
it's just a bullshit way to get her back to the castle so they didn't have to make a new area.
I had in my mind this little plot. I was like, ooh, I hope it's like Hostel, where it's like, I'm on vacation in a European country. I hope nothing bad happens to me. Oh.
No,
this
it's
is
just
happening.
She basically just went into some mind meld thing so she could get this information, basically.
I guess it's so it makes sense that any of this is even like around accessible, still shiny looking.
Yeah, didn't the whole place get like nuked like at the end of Village?
I don't super remember, but I think there was a lot of structural damage at least because there was a big dragon situation that happened.
Yeah, the big goopy thing. Yeah, that was a whole deal. I normally would give big spoiler warnings on Resident Evil Village, but what the fuck would you be doing watching a DLC quick look for a game you haven't beat? So honestly, if you feel spoiled by that, that's on you. So
take it out in the comments, everyone. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't look at those, so you guys can argue amongst yourselves. So.
I do. Be nice to me and be mean to Dan.
Sure.
Sorry.
That's fair. Let's find out where to put we got spooky TVs that talk. Calling me a rabbit. People love the talking TVs. Okay. I got a snake painting now. I used a Oculus key or something to open that. Oh, we got these dorks. Okay, so the big guys I have not been able to kill yet. There's
dorks.
a lot of... They are dorks, absolutely.
Dorks with big forks. Look at that guy.
Oh, jeez. All right, I'm gonna try to get out of the way of these dudes. So I can't stop them in their tracks. See how I've got like 3 little pips of like magic brain tree power over there on the right? So I can use that to stop enemies in their tracks or use like a mold counter when these things come in to suck your face off, basically. So that's
because this beautiful young child is half mold in some way.
Yeah, her dad was a mold man.
Is she half mold or is she like a quarter mold? Because I think her dad became mold later in his life.
Was he mold before he conceived her?
Ooh. I guess he must have been because she's got powers, right?
Was she born? No, because she wasn't born in Resident Evil 7, because Resident Evil 7 is where he died and became mold.
Wait.
Yeah.
I gotta consult a wiki about this.
I think that's the case. Because, yeah, she's a little baby at the beginning of Village. She's a newborn babe at the beginning of Village.
She got, like, all busted up and recombobulated by the end, so...
No, that was the beginning.
Doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't matter that her dad is mold or not. Either way, she'd be mold now, right?
But I think if she was moldy at conception, there would be maybe a higher percentage. I'm not a doctor, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no,
But I think she would be more moldy if her dad was mold when he had sex with her mom.
Man, I
think
can't keep
that's
up on the
how
lore.
That works, yeah.
The mold lore.
Yeah, it's weird seeing. We'll see him in third person later, and that's kind of a weird thing.
Oh yeah, they show his gruesome face, his mysterious face.
He's just a boring dude, really, at the end of the day.
Who'd have thunk?
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of looking forward to this expansion because I am, believe it or not, a very specific kind of baby with certain horror games in that I don't like first-person horror games very much at all.
Really?
It's weird. Like, over the shoulder, love them. Yeah, I think there's like a bit of a separation between me and the character, so it's a little, I can handle it better, it's a little less scary, but if it's just first person, I am like, fuck no, this sucks, I hate it, I am so scared by it.
So does that, here's a mold counter.
Ooh, mold counter.
So does that carry over to Resident Evil, like, throughout its history? Like, are you a fan of, like, 4 but not 1, like that type of stuff?
1 wasn't first person.
No. I'm saying, were you a fan of 7 and 1? 7 being first person and 1 being third person. Like, did you like 1 but not 7?
I like I mean, I like them all, but like, there's just ones I find way scarier. And
Sure.
7, I was like having a really hard time dealing with. Even 6, the one in the big house, right?
7 was in the big house,
7.
the first person one.
This is 8.
Yes.
See, I'm mixing them all up like an idiot. But both of them, I had a real hard time dealing with. I don't think I beat all of either of those because I was like, I can't deal. It's too close to my face.
I take it you have not tried it in VR? 7?
I tried a little bit of 7 in VR, and like I think I almost died. Like I was so scared.
Maybe the most effective VR experience I've had.
It was for a charity thing, so one of the goals was like, we're gonna put Jess in the VR helmet, and it's gonna be not fun for her. So.
Oh, gotcha.
I was very brave, I assure you. Yeah,
sure.
but it's awful.
I'm lining up predators on this side, and you got. So I think I've done this right. You got a wolf over here, and a wolf's gonna eat the sheep, right?
Sure.
Right? I'm not an animal doctor, but I think that's how that works. You got a spider here.
Yeah.
Spider's going to eat the butterfly, right? Or would it be frog eats the butterfly? I have a snake now. Snake eats the frog.
You know, a lot of these are a little interchangeable.
Yeah, I'm sure like a snake would want to eat any. Like if a snake could eat a sheep, I'm sure it would go to town.
I think a snake would eat the spider too. But
I
are
think
some
a
of those
sheep could eat a
locked in
butterfly?
place? Some of those locked in
Yes.
place, I assume.
A couple of them are.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Then that limits your options.
Yes. All right.
So she said, "Did he make these puzzles to mess with me? Who's he?"
Oh,
What's the story, Wishbone.
It is real dumb. It does this thing where let's see if it does it on the way out of here. Remember Deathloop? You play that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, do you remember how it would like paint like words on like your past self would write things on the environment, basically?
Yeah.
This does that, and
Hey, we had a seance in this room, didn't we?
Did we? Was that this room?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was this room. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, let me save. I think it's probably implied that it's Ethan. Like, oh, I'm talking through your mind to you, my daughter. I'm even though I'm dead. I think that's what's going on here.
What if it's the Duke?
Oh, the Duke's the bad guy in this.
No, this game does suck. What the fuck?
It's like he's got a creepy mask on, and so he seems to be like the evil dude at the beginning of this.
Wow, okay, so this is like a computer program, huh? So who programmed this biased account?
It's actually
where the Duke is not the best character.
It's like a goopy science jar. I don't know if it's not really like a program, like an animus. It's just like, hey, put your hand over this goop jar. It's it's like an animus in that you're going through the memories, but the method isn't like a fun, like, hey, sit in this massage chair thing. It's a, hey, hover your hand over this jar of goop, basically.
Who provided the goop?
There's this dude sitting on a park bench that I assume was the dude that was walking up at the end of the village thing in the post-credits deal. But he was just some dork talking to me about like, hey, remember when your dad died and now these girls are mean because you've got powers? Then he's like, how about you look at this goop? And then now you're in the castle again.
See, I would just show her the movie Carrie and be like, don't worry, you're going to be just fine.
Yes.
This movie has a happy ending, I think.
I think notoriously happy ending. It's a musical number. Yeah, so that's this part of it. It is. I've heard this is like 2.5 hours long, and it never quite. I mean, it's these new powers and stuff. Like you may have seen me cleanse, like that goop off the walls, and I can use that to stop the enemies. I don't know if it's going to give more, but I'm like an hour 15 in this, and I've heard it's 2:30, and so if I'm halfway through, then so far it has not really grabbed me. But if you really just want to play something set in that castle again, it's there now.
Maybe people just thirsty for just a little more of the same thing. There's a little demographic for that, I guess.
Yeah, look, that was a very popular game.
I didn't expect this to be groundbreaking in any way, but like maybe just a little morsel of content on more story stuff would be neat. But I don't know.
it's not much, and it certainly so far has not hinted much at like where it's going for Resident Evil 9, which has not been announced yet. This is the Mercenaries. I remember really enjoying Mercenaries in Resident Evil 4. It's just kind of an arcade mode, basically. You can play early on here as Ethan and Chris, and you can see what the different rewards are here. So basically, you'll start with more money. If you get a B rank or above, you can unlock new levels. If you get A rank or above, and once you have the levels, if you get a rank in all of them, you'll start unlocking. Where are they at? Unlock ? As a playable character. So it's like, if you get an A rank or above in all normal. So like, I assume there are numerous unlockable characters. See if you get an S rank or above in Bloody River, there's a playable character. So it's a lot of playing through these stages. Because right now,
are they going to bring back like Hunk or Ada or somebody random?
I mean, it could be villains. It could be Demetrescu. It could be like in 4. I think you could play as Wesker, or maybe that was 5's Mercenaries. But Mercenaries,
would they like make a future RE version of Wesker here? Probably not. That'd be too much work, right? So I'm trying to think like who else like has a model in this game that isn't like immobile or ridiculous. I mean, can you play Lady Demetrius? She's like huge.
I would think so. Was that even in the trailer? I know they did that stream, but it would not surprise me if they had her in there.
That would be funny if you can play this gigantic lady.
Yes. So this is outside of, so he's not the bad guy here. He's back to being just the shopkeep. So I'm Ethan, and he is just pretty much just straightforward. Like, he's just a normal guy with guns. This is Chris Redfield. He's got this, like, thing where if you, like, melee kill and you punch him, you get this onslaught meter that fills up, and you can kind of go into that, like, Brick from Borderlands thing where you just punch a bunch of things.
That's so Chris.
It's Chris. It's straight up Chris. This is gunsmith stuff. It starts you with a certain amount of Louis. I don't know what it's called. Whatever the fuck.
Probably
Lay? Is that an actual? Oh, there it is. It's written right there. Yeah, Lay. Okay. Yeah. Probably Lay. Yeah. Power. Get rid of fire. So there's like basically 3 parts to each of these levels. So let's go into the first one here. And we're back in the first-person view. All right.
I mean, all the other Mercenaries modes were over the shoulder. Because did the previous game have a Mercenary mode?
7? That's a good question. I don't remember if 7 added one. 7 had some DLC, I know. I don't know if it had any built in. It's definitely a thing in like 4 and 5.
I don't remember seeing any like footage of anyone going around the house in that one, the baker's house, and like kicking a bunch of ass in it or anything like that. But it was like a different kind of game that didn't have a ton of swarms of dudes like this one does, though.
It wasn't as action heavy as the ones that started Mercenaries.
Yeah.
Like, I remember one of the early, like, the 3DS launch games was just Resident Evil Mercenaries 3D, and it was just, that was it. The whole game was just Mercenaries. Here, you can punch these blue orbs and choose between 3 perks here. So it's like, okay, long distance attacks do more damage, close combat attacks do more damage, or HP recovers slightly when attacking with a gun. That sounds useful. So you can get as many as you want, but obviously you want to, like, keep a combo going. You get a bonus for, like, a time bonus at the end of each of these, so it behooves you to keep moving and keep your kill streaks up. So here, once I get to 15, I can leave the level, but I can stay if I want to. I'm feeling good about time. So it's just a big, like, leaderboard type thing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm trying to remember, like, which games I played a lot of Mercenaries in. And I feel like I've mostly just dabbled. I think the most of Mercenaries I played was in the 5th one.
Oh, yeah?
Mercenaries in that one, right?
Was
I don't
it
know why,
co-op?
like... Yeah, I think that's probably why I played a lot of it, because the co-op in RE5 was like, I don't know, it was like perfect for me. It was so dumb.
I loved it. I love co-op in 5.
It was great.
I promised my sister I will play that with her because she's never played 5. So
Oh man, 5 is so ridiculous.
It's fun. I
it's
like it.
so racist.
yeah, yes, but it is fun.
You're just playing it like, get a load of this shit.
I haven't played it in a while. I'm curious how it's aged, but I remember even back in the day that being a thing. Let's see if I can sell anything
Stealing
here.
all the gems. The gems in that game are so gorgeous.
Oh, the what do they call them? Enamels? What is it
all
called?
the little treasures, all the little different, like,
Trustworthy
I don't know. They were so nice.
Brown eggs.
Brown eggs. A treasure to some, perhaps.
Let's see. Okay, so
I
sold some
also
shit.
think that, like, RE5 has my favorite all-time like dialogue moment from any character in any game, and it's Wesker saying, "You will give me an egg."
I don't remember that. Is that a big like is it like a story egg?
No, you can play as Wesker in Mercenaries mode, and you can, like, you know, because you're in co-op, you can say to your partner, like, "Hey, I need ammo," or something, and you can get Wesker to say, like, "You will give me an egg."
Does he gain like an evil guy accent at some point in those games? Because I feel like in the first one he was just like, "Hey Chris, come on, let's go look for this." Like I don't think
the
he
first
had.
one had accents all, like, not accents, but like voice acting all over the place.
Oh, it
you
had
know?
voices.
You're almost a Jill sandwich, like, you know. So
It's almost a bummer when they remade it. It made the game objectively better, but also it's like, but that's kind of part of the thing I like.
the charm, no.
Yeah, I like that stuff a lot. Oh god. I just got a thing that makes it so corpses probably explode when I kill them. So that's a handy little bonus.
Do they hurt you if they explode next to you, or?
I don't know if they hurt me or just the other. I would hope the
hope
other
not.
goobers. Let me see. So that's damage taken decreases. I don't do knives. I'll do.
I don't
headshots.
do knives.
Let's shoot these dumbos. There we go. Yep, he blew up.
Huh.
15. So yeah, it's like 3 of these parts comprise each stage.
God, this game is still so pretty.
Yeah.
Goodness
good looking
gracious.
game. It's a good. It's not good for capturing, so I turned it off. But this game with HDR on, it looks real nice. It's very, very nice.
Beautiful.
So that is this. So each of these areas has those 3 segments, and then you can,
Yeah, so, like, all the other areas are like, oh, you can be, like, in the mansion, and can you go into, like, what's the house with the dolls and stuff like that? Do you get to, like,
I'm sure
root
that's
around in there
there.
with bad guys?
I would imagine there, and then like where the weird fish man lived, like by the windmill, like all that stuff. I'd have to imagine that's in there. And then the last thing I will show is just what people. Let's go back to my old saves here from May 14th of last year. I guess it's been a year and a half since I played this. Outside of this autosaver, I wanted to make sure I had all my stuff. So yeah, this is third person of the Resident Evil Village that folks are probably already familiar with. And look at that. Look at that dork back of his head. Yeah. So
This is crazy. This is crazy.
it's weird. It's way more like, oh god. And there she is.
Hello.
Seen through third person. But
Just
we go.
as hot as she
see.
was in first person.
I think that was a weird internet thing. I'm sure there are a lot of folks that are like horny for the big vampire lady, but when it started becoming a big thing on Twitter, I think there were a lot of people like to be part of the conversation or the discourse or like, oh, the giant vampire women are totally my thing too. Oh, horny. Like, I think that's what Twitter did. I think that's my suspicion. I have no judgment on anyone who is legitimately horny for the big vampire lady. Be into what you're into. But I think a lot of people just wanted to be part of the discourse and were like, oh, yeah, that's my fetish. Like, I think that's what happened.
Oh, yeah.
I strongly believe there's a lot of fake horniness for this.
I want genuine freaks in my timeline. Come on.
Inauthentic horniness, yes. Look, we can see him pour that shit on his hand. I'm just saying, be authentic with your horniness, folks.
If you don't genuinely have a boner right now and you're tweeting out this lady, you are out of line.
Stand up. Push it.
Straighten out, fly right. Don't lie about it. Okay?
Yes.
Look at these posers. These boner posers.
Yeah,
okay?
imagine the authentic horny vampire people. They probably feel bad about that. So you got to keep them in mind.
Well, I think there's a lot of crossover between people who are horny for vampires and people that are horny for large women.
That's
and
the thing. I'm sure there are plenty.
That was a big Venn diagram.
I'm sure there are dozens, and to them, God bless them. But there's a lot of people on Twitter that are still to this day acting like they're perpetually whacking off to big vampire ladies.
Well, I mean, you saw what happened with Bowsette. That was another like.
That's weird too. Was that ironic? I think I probably saw that for 2 seconds. I was like, well, I'm adding this to my 800 muted words list on Twitter.
I don't know. I think that was completely real.
The speed in which I see something on Twitter, am instantly annoyed by it, and then add it to a muted word so I never have to think about it again. I mean, I'm surprised I don't have like just like and the on there. It's just.
Well, I have a lot of words muted too, but
I bet I got to beat.
Didn't get to a point where it was like I need to fucking cull this.
I try to make it so I see no more than like 3 tweets a day.
Wow.
Anyway,
I mean, you're living life correctly. I'm the one in the wrong, obviously. I mean,
anywho, this is you can see over this guy's shoulder now. So there's the thing.
If you have a fetish for seeing over someone's shoulder, oh baby.
Yeah, just don't fake being horny about seeing over shoulders. That's what this is all about.
For me personally, this is my fetish. I like seeing over the shoulder. You know, seeing the first person doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, have a good time looking over those shoulders. You can look over shoulders all day in this game now. So, it's look, this is fine. This is okay. Look, I think the third person thing is maybe the coolest thing, especially if someone hasn't played this game before. Shadows of Rose does not seem like a whole lot, and Mercenaries doesn't seem. I don't see myself spending a lot of time there. But if you're jumping into this for the first time,
I'd like to give this game another shot because it got too scared because first person scary. I'd like to give it another shot with the over the shoulder situation.
This might be the perfect way for you to do that then.
Good for us very specific wieners that don't like being in somebody's eyeballs.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to experience the game, and obviously it worked for 1 and 2's remakes. So, all right. Well, for all you folks that are genuinely into this, here you go to end the quick look.
Yeah.
There you go. Wait, well, I guess I can't look through his eyes. So, yep. Have a good time, folks. Jess, thanks for joining.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Bye.